Hi everyone, welcome back. We're here with Michael again, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the 29th degree in astrology and how it comes into play. Michael, hello.
Hi there, Sherry. Hello, everybody.
So you had mentioned in your talk that you just did yesterday for the Cannabis Act that how the 29th degree comes into play in various ways. I think it was the moon and Chiron you were mentioning. So tell us a little bit more about the 29th degree.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. Yes, in astrology, just the quick math on it is that there's a 360-degree circle, which represents a cycle. And if you divide that by 12, the 12 signs of the zodiac, you get 30 degrees each. So if you have a planet at the 29th degree, it's considered a critical degree. Technically, it's called an anaretic degree. And what it implies is that it's at the very last, kind of the omega point of that sign. So there's something that it must overcome. That's the main key word, overcome.
Like a final lesson of whatever that sign holds?
A final lesson's a good way of saying it. It's a bit deeper than that. It does invariably, if it's in your birth chart, it stems to a past life theme where there might have been either a neglect of something, or it's kind of generally considered not great karma. It's not devastating, but there's definitely a challenge, and it becomes a lifelong theme because whatever planet's at the highest degree in our chart is what we're aiming for at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So when we say at the end of the day, it says, it's sort of that discussion of means and ends, so to speak. In other words, ends are what we're aiming for in a big way in our life.
Right.
But the 29th degree indicates that for whatever reason, there was a lack of effort or a lack of focus or negligence or something. Yeah, so it can be described as I use metaphorically like that. It's like you didn't do your homework, and not only do you have a detention where all the other students are out playing, so to speak, that you also have to go to summer school.
Right. So you have work to do.
You have work to do, and for the rest of your life, it doesn't go. It's not going to go away quickly. It's not going to just, vanish and I did it. There last year I made a lot of effort. No, it's with you all your life. Mm-hmm. But so a good word for it, by the way, is surrender.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting. And so even if somebody has something at 28 degrees. It's kind of has that flavor still, or is it it's exact 29?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the 28th degree, it would be a good sign if somebody had 28th degree to possibly up their game a bit, but the pressure won't be as high.
Okay.
They might, with a late degree, yes, actually be aware of the possibility. I don't know, it doesn't necessarily work that way. It's not that linear necessarily. But yeah, I've seen people have mentioned, well, what's that 28? 29 is the degree. It's really it. It's like there's two anaretic degrees, 0 and 29. It's like the floor and the ceiling. So you're really at those two spots, and the floor it's all up from here. You're very new, green. There's a lot to learn, etc. You're just naive at worst. But the 29th degree means it's critical. It's at the end. Somehow you didn't follow through or take action, and now you're a bit late. And you've got work. You've got work to do in your life, and that because it's the planet of highest degree in the chart. Because even if it's at 20 degrees of any sign, in the whole chart, it's going to hold that 29th degree. Understand?
Okay.
So you can look at the degrees of all the planets in all the signs, and there'll be one or two, sometimes even more, at 29 degrees. If there's more than one, the ante's higher.
I bet. So you, with all the charts that you see in the thousands now, have you ever seen anybody's chart that has like 4?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And is it really difficult for them in life?
Yes. Yes. It especially when it's the angles, the ascendant, descendant, IC, MC line. I've seen those be at 29 degrees.
Right.
In some charts, I see 1, 2, 3 planets. Sometimes you'll see 2 planets and the angles. So it can be quite a lot. Now, there can be a sort of a feeling of difficulty, lack, as though it's difficult for them. They don't easily, it's not breezy. By any means. It's something that they have to work hard at. The opportunities aren't there. Like I say, they're sort of almost in trouble. So that's basically a bit of background on the 29th degree. Again, keywords are surrender, patience, commitment, and perseverance. Those would be the 4 words I would give to it. It's an overcoming requiring surrender, commitment, perseverance, and patience.
Yeah, and I suppose with you being able to see the rest of the chart, you can help them to know how to deal with it in the best way that they can. So.
Yeah, when you see the chart and you see a 29 degree, it definitely takes a strong focus in the reading, and you know, it becomes an ongoing theme of how that person might deal with it. It's not just a quick answer, it's a process. Much of astrology is about deciphering it's not just about predicting things when it's done well. It's about helping people understand how they can best live their life well and enter into the process of their life. And with a sense of surrender, commitment, perseverance, and patience, they can be happy, by the way. They can just, okay, that's what I've got to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all. I was saying, it's like you have a detention and you have to go to summer school. So if you just go, okay, I'll surrender to that, you can find happiness in that. But people often feel weighted, sorrowful, depressed, sorry for themselves.
And they don't know why.
They don't know why. What's wrong with me? Why? Etc. Yeah. So this is all in the natal chart.
So there's, what other kinds of charts does it come into play? Because it's like you were looking at the chart of the Cannabis Act. Yes, today, October 17th.
That's called an event chart. Now, event charts are, you know, charts that represent a signature event, which is like a birth chart, but it's not a person. So, right. So, but it shows a theme that is affecting some group of, could be if a couple launched a business or they got married, something like legal and official launched, and we have an event chart, and there's 29 degrees. But certainly not something you'd support them to do. You wouldn't want to say, hey, why don't you go with the 29? No, you'd encourage them, I might wait till tomorrow or find when there's not 29 degrees, for example. But if you say it was in retrospect, they're already in it and they did that, then you know, they have a karma here. For example. So there's event charts in the Cannabis Act, for example, the article I just wrote and the video. It talks about 2 planets, the moon and Chiron.
The wounded healer.
Yeah, now I'm not going to go into it because the video will tell the story more elaborately, but I'll basically say this. The moon is possibly one of the more problematic planets to be at 29 degrees, partially because it's also called void of course. So the moon on its own, when it's made its last official aspect to another planet before exiting a sign, or entering the next sign, in that space at the end of the sign, it's called void of course, and it's sort of a very right brain, imaginative, a bit airy-fairy at worst kind of thing.
Yeah, not high energy.
Ungrounded at worst. Yeah, it depends on the sign it's in. There's a lot of factors in astrology, what aspects it's making, what house is it in, etc. So it can be elevated, and sometimes it could be a wonderful energy of a highly imaginative, creative person. But they, you know, so really you never want to be too pat with any of these things. As I say, let's say a person has 29 degrees, but they're surrendered, patient, persevering and committed, they can achieve great things. And you
would see it also in any other kind of chart, like a solar return.
It could occur, yes.
Astrocartography, maybe, too?
Yes, it could. No, astrocartography isn't, yes, in terms of angles.
Right.
But let's say it's a solar return chart, a chart cast for your birthday each year. And solar return charts are based on where you are. It's very location-based.
For your birthday.
That particular chart, yes, location-based. Yeah, where you are on your birthday at the exact time of the return. You could have planets in that chart. It's like a mini natal chart that you read for the year. It's a very good predictive tool. And yes, you can have planets at 29 degrees. So what it would suggest is, you got work to do this year on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it can be very useful. And or a planet by progression could go into a 29th degree. If it's the moon in this case, by progression, it will only last about a month. The moon moves by progression 1 degree a month. But if it was Pluto, you know, which means it moves very, very slow. Let's say Pluto in your chart natally was at 28 degrees, and it progressed to 29, it would be there for the rest of your life. So usually, generally, because it moves very, very slow by progression. So it would be a strong theme of some kind of overcoming.
Depending on the house.
Yes, depending on, not depending on the house, just the planet itself progresses very slowly, and it will be in a certain sign, and in some cases it could move into the next house, etc. So it depends on the planet. Planets, by progression especially, move at different rates of speed quite significantly. And the sun 1 degree per year, the moon 1 degree per day. So a person could have the sun progressed in a sign, and it's at the 29th degree, and it will be there for a year.
Right.
Right. So they have a strong theme of overcoming that year of that theme. And so, yeah, it can be seen to achieve great things positively in terms of whether a person embraces it. So this is the key to the benefit of astrology, is that the knowledge gives you awareness. Ah, I get it, and then you're not all in reaction and confused and depressed, etc. It's self-defeating. So that bit of awareness gives you a whole new lease on the awareness of how to tackle it and the attitude that you might approach it with. And it can go into strategy too. And you can go into knowing the duration. Is this a lifetime thing?
Yeah.
Is this going to last a year, a month, whatever? So yeah, and
awareness is key.
You can look down the road in a person's chart and see when it's coming. Oh, you're going to come to that, so you can help them plan. So that's really good too.
Excellent, thank you.
So yeah, that's what 29 degrees are, and really good to know about not just by your birth chart, but what might be happening in your transits, progressions, solar return, or return charts in general.
Events.
All the planets, event charts like that. So there you go, a bit of insight on the critical degree, 29 degree. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.